How many tenses are there in English? What? Do I need to know, like, all of them? Is there any logic to forming these tenses? Are some tenses more important than the others? Just how do I know when to use which tense? If you have ever asked yourself any of these questions, this video is for you. We will walk you through all the English tenses, and Hollywood will be our guide. Are you ready? In modern English, there are 12 tenses that are used. That can sound quite intimidating, since most probably in your native language you use 3 to 6 tenses. But don't worry just yet, there is method to this madness. Let's have a look at this table. English has 3 basic tenses: the present, the past, and the future. And each tense in its turn has 4 aspects: simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. And we are going to have a close look at each and every one of them.
So let's do this thing!
Present simple is used for things that are generally true or for actions that happen regularly. Let's have a look at our first example.
I love you. You complete me.
Wow, Tom Cruise really knows his present simple, doesn't he? As you can see, love and complete were used in their base form, the same one that can be found in the dictionary. Wow, you will say, present simple is so easy. Hold your horses. Let's not make any conclusions just yet. That was just the positive form for I, you, we, they. Let's see what happens for he, she, it.
My mother thanks you. My father thanks you. My sister thanks you, and I thank you.
As you can see from the video clip, the verb adds the s ending. That's what will happen for he, she, it in the present simple. Forgetting that little s ending is probably one of the most common mistakes that learners of English make. To help you tackle this problem, we have made a whole video which is dedicated to this problem exclusively. It will be linked in the description box below. Please watch it and use the present simple correctly. Present simple will thank you for using it the right way. Now let's talk about the negative forms in present simple.
Well, I don't want to survive. I want to live.
For I, you, we, they, we use don't and the base form of the verb. What do you think will happen for he, she, it in the negative form?
Do we have a deal, Mr. Reagan?
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist.
As you must have guessed, we use doesn't plus the base form, so that s ending went from the main verb to the auxiliary verb.
You know, I know this steak doesn't exist.
Now for the questions. Take a regular sentence and add do at the beginning of this sentence to make a question for I, you, we, they. For he, she, it, add does in front of the subject, and don't forget to remove that s that is standing next to the main verb.
Do you believe in fate, Neil?
No.
Why not?
What does that mean?
Whoa, 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 guys, that was too fast. Let's hear it again, but slower.
Do you believe in fate, Neil?
No.
Why not?
One more thing to talk about before we go on to the next tense is the verb to be, because in present simple it has a separate set of forms. You probably already know this because this is one of the basic things that you learn when you just start out learning English. So we say I am, you, we, they are, and he, she, it is. In spoken language, very often these verbs are contracted to I'm, his, she's, its, and we are, you're, there. Let's have a look at some examples.
I am your father.
Not true. It's alive. It's alive.
To make negatives, simply add not. And again, it's really common to use contracted forms in spoken language. So you would say isn't and aren't. But please note that there is no contracted form for am not. The biggest contraction you can make here is say I'm not, and that's it. Let's have a look at several examples from one of my favorite animated movies ever.
You are a toy! You weren't the real Buzz Lightyear, you're an action figure! You are a child's plaything!
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
Finally, to make questions, just flip the pancake. Just change am, is, are places with the subject. If necessary, add a question word at the beginning.
Who am I? Who am I?
Gwen.
Am. Who am I? Who am I?
Are you crazy? Or just plain stupid?
Stupid as stupid does, Mrs. Blue.
The last thing to say about present simple is that it's often used with frequency words and phrases, such as every day, every month, every year, always, never, sometimes, usually, often, seldom, rarely, once in a while, and so on. Basically, any phrase that shows you how often something happens. Wow, that was quite a ride with present simple. But don't worry, not all tenses are going to be like that. The case of present simple is closed. As opposed to present simple, which talks about regular or permanent situations, present continuous is used for things that are happening at the moment of speaking. Let's see what Sandra Bullock has to say.
Glide, glide. See? Glide. It's all in the buttocks. Don't I look pretty?
It takes a very secure man to walk like that.
Roll your hips, roll your hips. Head up, keep gliding. Keep gliding.
I'm gliding here!
Hey, what are you, blind?
Asshole.
As Sandra demonstrated just now, we form present continuous by using am, is, are with the ing form of the verb. Present continuous can also be used to talk about a temporary situation that is not happening at the moment of speaking. For example, I can say, I am reading Michelle Obama's biography now. As you can see, I am not sitting and reading it right now while making this video, but I am in the process of reading it in general. Some students are surprised to find out that we use present continuous to talk about future arrangements. Let's have a look at this clip.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.
In this infamously creepy movie quote, Hannibal Lecter was talking about a future arrangement with a friend that he was having for dinner. English native speakers always used present continuous for talking about future arrangements. Are you having a friend for dinner tonight? To finish off, here are some typical time words and phrases that go hand in hand with present continuous. Now, right now, at the moment, currently, presently, nowadays, this year, this month, this season, today. Now we are gladly taking present continuous off the list and moving on. Here goes another present tense, but it's truly special. The interesting thing about it is that it's both about now and then. I like to think about it as a sort of a bridge between the past and the present. Use present perfect for A, situations that started in the past and still continue now.
I have always depended on the kindness of strangers.
Oh.
In this example, the lady started depending on others when she was born, maybe, or when she was a teenager, and she still does so now. To use the present perfect, use have or has. Have for are you with they, has for he, she, it, and the past participle form of the verb. Now, what does a past participle look like? If the verb is regular, just add ed. For example, I have moved, we have played. If the verb is irregular, you will need to remember the third column of the irregular verbs. For example, I have thought, I have swum, and so on. Knowing how challenging it can be to learn these irregular verbs, we have come up with a string of videos to help you cope with those. So if you check the links in the description box below, you will find links to the videos with our irregular verbs poems and irregular verbs in groups. Do check them out, we are sure they will help you. Let's talk about another reason for using present perfect. So be, we use it for an action that has already finished, it's not happening anymore, but it happened within a period of time that is not over, so within a present period of time. For example, you will say things like, I have received 50 emails today. She has been to this restaurant 3 times this week. Reason C. Use present perfect for an action that happened in the past but has a present result.
Have you found Jesus yet, Doug?
I didn't know I was supposed to be looking for him, son.
Some more typical examples for this use include the following sentences. She has had a haircut. He has opened the door. And last but not least, present perfect is used to talk about personal experience.
Have you ever seen the air so clear?
Here are some more typical examples for this one. I have never tried haggis. How many times have you been to Spain? To wrap up, here are some time words and phrases typically used with present perfect. Already, yet, just, ever, never, always. Phrases with for and since, today, this week, this month, this year, etc. Present perfect continuous is used to describe an activity or a process that has already stopped, but this process has a connection to now. More specifically, it has a result in the present, and we want to emphasize that this result came about through a long activity or through a long process.
She's a mermaid. I don't understand. All my life, I've been waiting for someone, and when I find her, she's a fish.
Tom Hanks couldn't have said it better. The form is have or has been plus the verb with the ing ending. Some more typical examples include: he is wet because he has been singing and dancing in the rain. He is tired because he has been running for a long time. Additionally, use present perfect continuous for actions that started in the past and still continue now, especially if they are accompanied by time phrases that include for and since.
Oh, excuse me. I have been waiting over 2 hours.
Oh, not to worry. Dr. Lupus does know you're here.
Oh, I can't wait any longer.
Well, then if you prefer to reschedule, I'm sure
No.
I
have had this appointment since June.
June? I've been waiting for a year for my appointment.
I know a woman who sold her appointment for $3,000.
Oh my God.
You might be wondering how present continuous and present perfect continuous are actually different, since both of them might be talking about an action that started in the past and is still unfinished now. The difference is that present perfect continuous is always connected to the past. So some way there is this hook that connects us back to the past. Usually these are phrases with for and since. For example, I have been learning English since I was 10. So since I was 10, that's the past, and I'm talking till now. I have been learning it. Now with present continuous, there is no such connection. Present continuous always describes now and only now, but it never has this connection to the past that present perfect continuous does. The present tenses are done and dusted. Now it's time to travel to the past.